In the previous session too, I was renaming everybody like the last time. Hey,
Oh.
Hello, how are
hi.
you?
So good to see you. Oh my God, we've got the babies with us.
Of
That's
course, of course.
fantastic. Angelo and Paddington.
Of course.
Wonderful.
You asked them to get
Yes,
home. So yeah.
absolutely. This is very special. Would not be complete without them. So we're so happy to have the family together.
Yeah,
Yeah,
they are the smart ones.
yeah,
Yeah,
absolutely.
That's absolutely fantastic. It's so good to see you, Angelo Paddington, and a big warm welcome
thank
to
you.
all of you. And Lars, Rags, it's so good to see you.
So nice to see you, Ash.
So it's such a pleasure. Thank you so much. Thank you for joining. And they look like they're very camera happy. They're used to this. They're used to
Yeah, this is
being
the
the stars
time.
of many shows. So sweet.
Yeah, they're quiet, they're very obedient, and they're sitting like they want to be part of
Yes,
the conversation.
they
Yep.
Yeah, of
are.
course, of course.
Look at him.
Absolutely. Absolutely. They're used to very strong advocacy on issues, to protect our planet, and they've been doing this for years. So they're very adept.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's absolutely wonderful to have all of you here. Thank you so much.
Thank you
We're
for having
thrilled.
us.
Thank you,
We're
Ash.
absolutely delighted.
So
Thank
good
you.
to see you. Both.
Yeah,
Likewise. Likewise, it's such a pleasure, and we are delighted to have you here, to welcome you to the Pop Festival, and which we've kicking off literally together with you, which is very very special to us. And we're going to be live, as I think we are already, and are looking forward to being in conversation with you. And I'm going to ask Drishya, who's going to join us here. Thank you, Drishya, for being here too, to provide a little bit of an introduction, and then we'll get into a conversation, which I'm so looking forward to. Thank you, Rags, Lars, and Angelo and Paddington.
this is Angelo.
Yes, Angelo is.
Paddington.
Yeah,
That's actually my dog, and this is Lars, but they've changed.
Yeah, yeah.
we decided to swap.
They felt a little bit uncomfortable with the camera, so they swapped.
That's wonderful. Great. Thank you so much again.
Of
Over to
Thank
course.
you.
you, Drishya.
Thank you so much, Dr. Rash. Good morning and good evening to everybody. Welcome to session 3 of day 1. Sorry to keep you all in the waiting room for more than 10 minutes. We were tying up our 2 sessions which were running parallelly, the opening session, session 1, and the poster presentation, session 2. This session is session 3, all about the founder's journey to creating the perfect work foundation. We have Mrs. Ragnhild Jacobsson and Mr. Lars Jacobsson. And this session is all about a conversation with them, the founders of the Perfect Word Foundation, Sweden. Um, Before we start the session, I would like to thank all the participants who have joined us and who have transferred them from session 1 to session 2 and then session 3. Thank you so much. I would also like to thank all the volunteers who are helping us out to for the smooth session. Now I would like to introduce Mrs. Ragnhild Jacobsson. She is an entrepreneur, philanthropist, and conservationist. She is CEO and co-founder of the nonprofit nature and animal organization, the Perfect Word Foundation, which is of an Scandinavian origin but with a global mission. With her extensive experience from business and civil society, she is steering the organization with a clear focus on saving a part of our paradise for coming generations. Welcome, Mrs. Jacobson.
Thank you.
Uh,
Thank you.
Mhm.
Thank you so much. Uh, Then we have Mr. Lars Jacobsson, who is a world-renowned entrepreneur who has made a leap from oil sector to renewable and solar technology. Today, he leads the Texas Energy Storage as chairman and CEO and is chairman of the Perfect World Foundation and also the director of the World Sustainable Development Forum. Welcome, Mr. Lars.
Thank you
We
very
are
much.
so glad to
Thank
have
you.
you.
Thank you, Drishya.
We also
Thank
have
you.
Dr. Ash Pachauri, who would now take over the lead to start the conversation, who is a dear friend of Mr. and Mrs. Jacobsson. Over to you, Dr. Ash.
Thank you so much, Drishya. And I just want to say a big warm welcome to Rags and Lars, and certainly also to Angelo and Paddington, who we're delighted to have here together with us. It's really something we've been eagerly waiting for, and it just all seems complete. I am so thrilled to be able to, have this important conversation. And I can see we have a lot of members of the Pop family here with us. And I wanted to say that this is going to be a really inspiring story. So I'm going to ask Rags and Lars to tell us a little bit about the Perfect World Foundation story to get us started. How and when did you set it up, and what was your motivation for getting it going? Thank you for sharing.
Thank you. I think Drishya actually did a very good conclusion. I mean, so I think everything is said, Brax, isn't it?
No, but actually it started many years ago when me and Lars was traveling around the world, and we saw what was going on. And
we had the opportunity between works, actually.
Yeah. So it was on one trip from Maun in Botswana to up to Zimbabwe. We were driving with a friend, and we met a lot of sanctuaries and met a lot of people working with conservation, and we heard these horrible stories from everyone, what was going on with the rhinos and elephants, and yeah,
I can add to that. During this trip, we actually passed a water hole where we met, I think it was like 100 elephants in a herd. And the week after, someone was putting down some cyanide into the water hole, and they killed all the elephants and all the surrounding animals. And that was a really, really sad experience, I would like to say.
Yeah, I would say that it was a shock. The whole trip was amazing. I mean, we love Africa, and and we ended up in Zimbabwe at a place called Imiri, and we were sitting there having a gin tonic, tired from the long trip, long driving, and they continued to tell us how they lost all their rhinos 2004 or something.
To poachers.
To poachers. They woke up one morning and it was just a bloodbath, and there was a small little calf that survived, but he was very traumatized. And when we were sitting there, we said, oh my God, we have to do something. We have to go back to Sweden and see if we could be that prolonged arm and see how we, in one way, could participate to fundraise or whatever.
And they told us all this funny story about the attempts to do fundraising in Africa, with barbecues that was basically raining away. And, it's not many people in Zimbabwe, in the area where Imiri are. So, they didn't fund a single dollar to try to save the rhinos. No. So Rags and me said I think it was 2 gin tonics actually, that we take that task and we bring it to Sweden and to Europe, and we will create a huge gala called Save the Rhino, and we did.
And I like, we always said, like the Swedes, if we say something, we have to do it. so we did. And after that, we continued our traveling. We went to Borneo. So we went into the jungle, and we also saw what was going on in the rainforest. We were so disappointed, actually, when we saw this with our own eyes. Most people, they go and they stay in a safari tent and everything is very fantastic, and if you start looking around and ask people who are working in the area, there's another side of the story. And that was actually, people said, why don't you start your own organization? And we had already registered the perfectworldfoundation.com because we wanted to make a virtual world. That was your idea. Exactly, yeah. So we said, why don't use that name? It's just perfect.
Yeah, and I mean, during these trips, we started to give away our own money, but we realized that we will not be able to save the world with our own money. So we started the foundation, and the purpose is to bring awareness to people, bring more money into conservation, bring important questions up on the surface, create new technologies, save the animals.
Yeah, I mean, it's much more fun to work together as well, like with the pop movement.
Yeah.
Wow. Wow, that's quite something. And I can just imagine that, getting out to a number of these places and getting to experience things firsthand just creates a certain inspiration and a passion to do things. And the outcome is the Perfect World Foundation. And I know you're doing so much in geographies of the world we need it most. So
but I think that's a big problem because, well, I mean, it's very expensive to go on a safari. Not many people have that opportunity to go and see these amazing animals in the where they should be, not at the zoo. So I mean, it's hard work.
Yes, it is indeed. It's a lot of work and a lot of strong activism and advocacy and like you said, partnerships, collaboration are a part of that. And I'm sure that that's an important part of lending strength to all that you do. And I've had the good fortune of being a part of so many amazing things you do. So thank you for sharing that beautiful story. Yeah.
That was a little part of it.
It was a very short.
It's a small part of a large story.
The real story is a little bit longer, Ash.
Take that another time.
Absolutely. Drishya.
Thank you so much for sharing that story with us. I would like to ask you, you both are ambassadors of the elephant family in the UK. Tell us about your role in there.
It actually started, the whole thing with elephant family started with a big egg hunt in London.
Yeah.
We actually
That's what you used to say. If it starts with the egg or with the elephant, is that something similar?
No, we actually rented an apartment in London because we were there for work for a couple of months, and we saw all these beautiful big eggs all around London. So we started walking around, and it was like it was a competition.
Yeah, it was, all the eggs was designed by different artists. And the competition was to find 208 eggs and locate them and make record of them and learn about elephants during the same time.
Yeah, and we have dogs, so we were walking around, so that was perfect for us. But then when we read about it, it said elephant families. We're like, wow, what is this elephant family? We love elephants. So we ended up buying one of these beautiful eggs at the auction.
Rags couldn't live without this egg, actually. So we ended up with the egg.
The story is pretty funny because we got this paper on the door every morning. And one morning when I opened up the paper and Goldie Hawn was holding my egg. So I said, no, Lars, she's holding the egg that I want to buy.
I was trying to tell Rags that it was actually not Rags' egg. It was one of 208 eggs around London. And Goldie Hawn had all the right, actually, to hug that egg.
So that was a little bit tricky, but we got my egg at the end. But
yeah, we got her egg.
So a couple of months after that, we got an invitation for an animal ball. And we never heard about an animal ball before. So me and Lars said, of course we have to go to London to this no elephant ball, it was an animal ball, yeah.
Animal, yeah.
So we went there, like two stupid Swedes, didn't know anything about anything. We came there and the invitation said it was at the Clarence house. So we actually called a friend and said, what is Clarence house? And he was just laughing and said, it's where the prince live.
Yeah.
And we, okay. Yeah, nice. So yeah, we went there, and I mean, all the people working for Elephant Family are amazing, and it's an amazing organization. And they asked us if we wanted to be ambassadors, so we were, and we actually learned to know the guy who was behind Elephant Family,
Yeah.
and he was actually the brother of Camilla Bowles. And yeah, Lars, you can continue.
Yeah, he was running Asian elephant sanctuary program through in India through Elephant Family, and we decided actually, because we Mark Shand was his name, and we liked him a lot, so we said that we need to award him, because we haven't talked about that yet, but the Perfect World Foundation decided to give an award on a yearly basis to someone that are doing something extra for conservation. And we decided in 2014 or something like that to give the award to Mark. We created a ball in Sweden. We had 500 invited guests. We got the Swedish Crown Princess to participate. But unfortunately, just weeks before our ball, Mark Shand fell in New York on the street. During a fundraising event, and he died, and that was really, really sad. So the award never came to Mark, but we were invited once again to the Prince of Wales and Camilla Parker Bowles. So they actually
and they stepped forward and
took over the organization, basically. And Mark died, and he had saved his elephant in India. So they decided to create a tuk-tuk race through India to bring his ashes back to his elephant. So we did.
So we were driving 500 kilometers through where it said India on the map.
Yeah, I to A. And
I hope they don't ask us where we were, because it was in the middle of nowhere.
In the middle of India.
But it was amazing.
So we brought the ashes. We designed our tuk-tuk with blue and yellow, like the Swedish colors, with Viking helmets and everything needed on a trip through India. And we brought his ashes back to his elephant. So it was a touching moment.
Yeah.
Fun trip with a touching end.
It was amazing to when we were like 70 tuk-tuks on this trip, and when we went through these small villages in India, and all the kids came out, and I think we bought everything, all of us, in the stores, whatever we can find, and gave to the kids when we came. It was beautiful.
And we learned us the hard way about the Indian roads because we were driving ourselves. So we had two ambulances. After 3 hours, we didn't have any ambulances because we had 6 people in the hospital. But we managed. We survived.
It was pretty serious. They came and said, you have to stop, no more racing, otherwise you have to go back home. So, but you should, when we came to the airport on our way back home, you would have been laughing a lot, because everybody looked like they had been to the Second War.
Wow.
Yeah,
limping and plasters everywhere, but
we had fun, and we raised a lot of money for Asian elephants. So that was good. Yeah, for corridors, building corridors for elephants. That's what the main thing for Elephant Family.
Thank you so much.
Yeah.
Thank you so much from Asia. From Asia and from the entire world, you have been taking care of a lot of families, a lot of elephant families, and the people who depend on them. And as a couple also, you are inspiring others to, keep your observation hat on and you can make and create a lot of difference. So thank you so much, Dr. Ash. Would you
That's
like to?
wonderful. Yeah, and you've been doing a lot for elephants, and I know that there's been some recent events as well that perhaps you'd like to update us about regarding elephants, because I know you've been doing so much, and you've done a lot to advocate and raise awareness as well. And there've been some recent developments. I was wondering if you wanted to
Yeah.
share anything.
Yeah, Lars, maybe there's something that we've been sued by this elephant killer from the United States. Yeah, a trophy hunter.
Yeah, American hunter was paying a lot of money to shoot a young elephant on the border to Krieger Park, and we were.
I must say,
yeah.
he even had a small piece of it for his lunch.
Yeah,
in his salad.
In a very disgusting way, he's describing this shooting this elephant and taking selected parts, eating it together with avocado and tomatoes. So it's really, really sad story.
Oh.
And we are now entering into a trial in the United States because he's American.
But we posted a small thing on our Facebook, and he now claims that he's
innocent
and is not doing so well psychologically. That's why he's suing us. So yeah,
so we are basically suing him back. We are planning maybe to shoot him, but that's another story. And eat him with tomato and avocado.
Yeah, that would be the best punishment.
We haven't decided yet.
No. But I mean, there's a lot of things that's going on. I must say, I didn't actually know that if you go to the Kruger Park on a safari, the animals you are watching could ending up on some American guy's plate. That was new for me.
Yeah,
I thought
because
it was more secured around the park. But...
Yeah, and the rules the legislation is of course different in all the different African countries. But in South Africa, as long as the elephants are inside the Kruger Park, they are not allowed to shoot. But as they walk just outside into someone's private property, you are allowed to shoot the elephants or other animals.
Yeah.
So so it's just if you have a lot of money, you can go to South Africa, shoot elephant, and due to new legislations created by Mr. Trump, our president of the United States, they are also allowed to bring all the parts of the animals into United States
from different African countries.
Yeah. So it's a really bad story, but we are trying to.
Yeah, we are translating it to English. I will send it to you, so maybe you can spread it. I mean, I think we need to cooperate on this and get it out, because it's really gross.
Yes, absolutely. And like you said, there's so many things that are happening in the world, and we need to come together to really protect all species. Our very own balance in terms of an existence depends upon all species that we need to share this planet with, right? And I know you've been doing so much. I myself have been very blessed to be a part of the very exquisite polar bear ball event that the Perfect World Foundation conducted in September 2018 in Gothenburg. And this I know was a culmination of a lot of work that the two of you and all of the Perfect World Foundation had done for the polar bear. And so there are so many species, but you've been outstanding advocates. And in fact, I wanted to point out to the young, the Bob family that's listening in on this, that Rags and Lars have done a lot working with Sir David Attenborough, and also talking of the Clarence House, also and the royal family, also with the Duchess of York. And I know that you've also awarded Dr. Jane Goodall previously in 2015, and you've had several events to mark outstanding leadership and also advocacy. And I'd love to hear from you. what some of the inspiration for what you do in terms of your advocacy is, and where do you see it going forward, especially in light of the many experiences I know you've personally had.
I mean, to have David Attenborough in Gothenburg for 2 days, that was, I mean, just amazing. He's even better than you think. He's so humble, and he's an amazing person. There's no doubt that he's as, I mean, famous as he is, because he's great. And it's the same, like you said, with Jane Goodall. We met her in Stockholm, and the last thing she said to us was like, never ever give up. And I mean, it's always good to meet these old, passionate, I mean, they are force for this planet. Sadly, they are so old, so we need a lot of young people now fighting in with the same spirit, I think.
Yeah, we need, of course, the next generation to take over. I mean, we had David Attenborough in Gothenburg, as you said, but we had you also, Ash, and we had the honor to have your dad there. And I mean, we had a conference. We were talking about climate. We were talking. You were represented by POP and also WSDF, and the outcome from the Climate Aid Conference in 2018.
And the Polar Bear Conference.
And Climate Aid Conference.
Yeah.
We also had, the outcome was that we are now creating something called Climate Aid World Forum. So it will start in 2021. We have got a huge interest from people, politicians, companies, local, international governments to participate. And this conference will go on from 2021 to 2030. After that, we will close and make sure that we are making everything safe for the next generation before 2030. So that's the ambition.
Fantastic. And this is the decade of action. So like you said, we need to mobilize every generation to be a part of this and to play their part in amplifying their voice and standing up for the species that we need to be able to protect, and also, of course, the health of the planet overall. But it's fantastic. And I'm gonna, in fact, ask, I know Drishya has a very interesting question, because I know, Lars, you have a fascinating journey, and we'd love to hear more about it. So over to Drishya, please.
Thank you, Dr. Ash. I think this is a very important question, and I'm sure that all the young people out there will be waiting to know what's the journey of yours, that interesting journey from an oil sector to an exemplary leadership in renewable energy and solar technology, because we as young people feel that in this sector, what career options do we have? And for somebody who is a great leader now in renewable energy and solar technology, I think it will be a great motivator. So we would like to know more about your journey, sir.
Yeah, of course. Thank you. Yeah, I mean, there are different stories around how I ended my time in the oil industry. I mean, of course, as a young man, I was just trying to feed myself and ended up in the oil industry. And but when I met my beautiful wife, she said that if you're going to marry me, you can't keep on working within the oil industry. So that is the short story. Yeah? But the little bit longer story maybe is that, I mean, that was a living, and we all understand. And when you are working within the oil industry, you of course understand that this is nothing that we can keep on doing. We cannot keep on bringing up fossil fuels from underground and kill our planet. So that's a no-brainer, to be honest. And I think many of the people within the oil industry would agree. But the problem is that we of course need to find solutions to get rid of oil. And so I started to focus, and one of the reasons is, of course, I mean, when we're talking about biodiversity, our planet will not survive, our animals will not survive. We can, as Dr. Richard Leakey said in 2018 or 17 at our gala in Gothenburg, he said that it doesn't matter if we stop poaching, if the elephants die from lack of water or from climate change. So I mean, the only way of creating a new sustainable tomorrow is, of course, to bring new technologies to the marketplace. Not only to bring new technologies, we need to industrialize new technologies. We need to produce and we need to implement new technologies and get rid of fossil fuels. And these solutions need, of course, to be cheap. That's number one. Humanity is not more sophisticated than that. I mean, even if we bring the most beautiful solutions to the market, the most environmental friendly solutions to the market, it doesn't matter, because what the market, what the business, what governments want is cheap solutions. So we have been focusing for a number of years to find not only energy, as you say, solar energy producing systems, but we need battery and energy storage solutions to be able to distribute energy during the 24 hours, during the dark hours. As you know, I mean, solar energy is just working when the sun is shining, but you probably want to turn on the lights after the sun is gone. So we need cheap energy storage solutions. And we are on the track. We have created a number of agreements. We signed a huge agreement with US Department of Energy 2 years ago, where we now have defined a technology that could potentially be that solution. And we are now working really, really hard on commercializing that technology within the next years to come.
Fantastic.
Thank you so much, sir. I think for all the ladies who have joined this meeting and who are going to watch, the one way to do advocacy is learning the art of how ma'am did that. And then to sir, thank you so much, because I think you are doing an amazing job and motivating all of us. Over to you, Dr. Ash.
Absolutely, that's one way of doing it, and I think it's beautiful, because what a powerful transition, and the kind of impact that the enterprise that you're leading now is long lasting, and really the not only the future but the present. And I just want to say that's a hugely inspirational story. I was wondering, as we talk about the 10 years, the action that's needed, what lies beyond for the Perfect World Foundation, and what are plans for climate aid, corona aid, and the next activities that you have planned for the organization and this.
Let's hope that the corona aid is over soon.
I hope so.
Yeah.
No, I think we all will agree on that, because I mean, many of our projects that we are working with are having a tough time now. So yeah. It's difficult, because I mean, you don't want people to travel too much, but I mean, some countries are really dependent on people coming, tourists. So it's not an easy question. I think we need new technical solution for flying and transportation, and it's the most important thing, the big problem.
Yeah, I'm sure. I mean, the coming generations also want to discover, they want to travel, they want to meet friends around the world, and we will keep on consuming. Unfortunately, I don't think we will go naked during the next decade. So I think we need to bring new technologies, sustainable technologies, circular technologies to the market, and we need to do it fast. And according to Corona, I just want to add that the environment is not waiting for Corona to disappear. We need to act now, even through this kind of events, through webinars and all other kind of technical solutions, because the environment, the climate change is ongoing, and we lost a very, very important year. Now we have even more hurry.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Yeah, absolutely. And I do agree with you. I mean, I hope that this has been something that has shaken us to realize the importance in terms of both the urgency in terms of action, but also the fact that we need to all play our part. It's not going to happen otherwise. And we have a small window of opportunity, but we've definitely entered what's a pandemic era, and if we don't do this fast, it's going to be too late. So, I really appreciate your message, and I also want to say that you've done a lot to spread the message of love. I know that this has been a year full of unprecedented challenge, but at the same time, the Perfect World Foundation, with its very big heart right there, um, is um, is one that has really done its part to spread this message. And I was wondering if you could tell us a little bit about how and what it was that you did, and then we'd love to be able to share your video as well. So I was wondering if you could tell us a little bit about that.
There was just an idea that I had to do this video. It was really challenging. We are supposed to do one with, you have one there. You know how much work it is to try to get celebrities and the project to sing in the same song. And my God, I was going nuts. We still have a little bit to work on that video, but we will. But yeah. But
it's a song with a lot of love. Yeah, we can all agree on that.
Yeah, but I think, it's so much sad things going around. People lose their jobs, and animals are killed by American hunters. Sometimes you just have to do something that spread love, and that's what we were trying to do with that video. And the passion we have for the planet, and the most vulnerable are animals. I'm from the Arctic. That's why I love polar bears. If you have the opportunity to go up to the Arctic, to Svalbard, for an example, and where you actually can see what's going on. It's so scary. We have been there, and you see the ice loss, and from decades. It's huge. The difference from when you look at pictures is so scary. We just have to keep on. Sometimes you do funny movies and movies with videos with a lot of love in it, and sometimes you have to do some scary work. But we can just mix them together. I think we can make this world a little bit more perfect.
And if you can't save the polar bears, the first thing I did some years ago was that I found Rags in the Arctic and I actually saved her from the darkness from the polar bears. So that's also kind of kindness, isn't
it? That's also love. Yes,
that's love.
No,
absolutely.
But a lot of things have changed. My father, he was like, when he was a child, my ancestor was shooting all the polar bears up in the Arctic, and they were sent to different zoos around the world. My father, he was feeding all the polar bear babies up in north of Norway when they came with the boats. That is not happening. That's something.
That's a good thing.
That's a good thing.
Yeah, it's a good start.
Yeah.
But once again, the climate change is taking care of a lot, unfortunately. Yeah. So we need to find new ways of stopping this this
I think that's
transition.
The real danger for our wildlife.
Yeah, and as you know, as Rags describes, everything is happening so fast in the polar regions, and the first animal or iconic animal to be affected is, of course, the polar bear.
Absolutely.
And your father was a good friend with Prince Albert of Monaco, and he will be awarded next year. And Prince Albert Foundation also doing a lot for the polar regions. So
yeah.
Together we can be strong.
Absolutely. I was just going to say, together we can make the difference. And it's so stark when you're physically there and you're seeing the difference in the state of the polar bear and other animals too. And when you physically get to see them is when it's really in your face. Of course, we have information, and in fact, related to that, I can see a question over here from one of our pop family members from Algeria, and he's asking that we've got a minority of people in the world who are aware, conscious, and are activists or scientists. But there's a large majority that's not. So I think his question is really about how do we make how do we make a difference with the larger part of the global community in terms of getting them to start taking action and also become aware?
That's a very good question, and we always said we have to take the nature into the city, because the major big cities, there is where you find the politicians, all the people who decides. What do you say? What's the name, Lars, in English?
I don't know. I know it in Swedish.
I'm glad we have Greta, because Greta speaks a little bit Swedish sometimes as well. No, but I think it's so important, because most of all people live in big cities, and they are cut out from the nature. And so it's a very good question. How do we get all these people to care?
But I think sometimes you can feel a little bit small when you see all these problems, when you see the icebergs melting and sea levels rising, and you feel that you are you feel that you can't really do anything, because you are just one of
but then you
almost
can
10
think
billion
about
people.
Greta.
Yeah, you can think about Greta, and of course she has done a huge difference during the last 1.5 year, and just like Rag said before, when we met Jane Goodall, and she said we can never give up. And that's why it's so important, the movement you are doing with the pop movement and all the people around the world, to keep together and keep on helping each other to keep the energy level up. Because sometimes, of course, it's you get sad, you get frustrated, you feel small, because all these things is happening. But we are actually a number of people, including you all, participating here today. And we together we can make a difference, and we can give each other energy to make change.
Yeah.
That's
like your father
powerful.
did. He was fighting for the planet until the end.
He gave us energy.
Yeah. Absolutely. Opened so many doors for us.
Yeah.
So that's what we are. We should, sharing is caring.
Yes.
Yeah.
And that's where I think the power of love and commitment and making that difference together is extremely impactful. And I think we need to spread that sentiment. That's what makes the difference. And I just want to say that I know that one of the things we have experienced in this period of pandemic has been the fact that people have been in this lockdown and have not been able to get out. And the Give a Little Love initiative was really about also raising awareness and supporting animals that have not been able to get the support that normally would have happened if it was a regular year. And so every drop fills the ocean.
Yeah, it's true.
That's wonderful. There's one more question before we play the beautiful music, which is our anthem now. We have a question here, which is that in the aftermath of this pandemic, how would, in your perspective, we be able to reach the rural communities and other minorities that are otherwise cut off and isolated from mainstream society? I wondered, with the strong advocacy that you do, and and all that, your voice gets out to so many places far and wide. I'm wondering what your thoughts are on this.
Yeah, maybe we can go back to when we were in the middle of Zimbabwe, somewhere where we were absolutely in the middle of nowhere when it comes to population, and you meet these people, and I mean it is difficult to do a fundraising event in the middle of the jungle or whatever you are. So I mean, we need to help each other. We need to communicate in different ways. We need to have webinars, we need to meet, we need to, unfortunately, we also need to travel to meet each other. So we need new technologies once again to be able to do that.
But I also think if people reach out to us, we could be a prolonged arm.
Exactly.
In our country, in other countries. I mean, but sometimes we don't know what's going on. I mean, in whatever it could be in the world. But I mean, we love to share stories.
When we came back from Zimbabwe to Gothenburg in the middle of almost not in the Arctic, but almost in the Arctic, in the darkness, and said that we are supposed to save rhinos in Africa, people were looking at us and said, "Are you crazy?" I mean, so I mean, and we felt that we need to help the rhinos in Africa, and we did, and we all need to help each other.
Yeah,
absolutely. That's fantastic. And I'm going to tell everybody over here, please do, reach out to Rags and Lars and the Perfect World Foundation, because they're really touching corners of the globe where I think a lot of us otherwise don't get to go and don't get to make a difference. And I think that the incredible thing about the work that you do is you work at very sort of high level policy, advocacy, science, and then at the same time you work on the ground in the jungles and forests and with the wildlife and communities in several places around the world. And I think you sort of bring the two worlds together, which is fantastic, and we need so much more of that. So I'm going to tell everyone here who's part of this conversation and listening to please reach out to the Perfect World Foundation and reach out to Lars and Rags and Angelo and Paddington and really make that difference together, because like we've heard Rags and Lars tell us over and over, it's about coming together, it's about collaborating, and it's about unifying those efforts, and together we can. So with that, I'm going to ask Drishya if we can get the beautiful music video. And this is really a very powerful one. I agree with Rags that I hope the Corona aid is really over, but it's got a strong message, and I think the message is everlasting, because we do need to fill our the world with love and embrace all forms of nature and wildlife. So with that, let's get the beautiful video going. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you so much for having us.
And thank you so much, Rags and Lars and Paddington and Angelo. It's such an honor.
Thank you.
Think of your fellow man, lend them a helping hand, put a little love in your heart. You see it's getting late, oh please don't hesitate, put a little love in your heart. And the world will be a better place, and the world will be a better place for you and me. To just wait and see. Not a day goes by, still hear the children cry. Put a little love in your heart. You want the world to know we won't let hatred grow. Put a little love in your heart, and the world will be a better place. And the world will be a better
Put a little love in your heart. 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 Put a little love in your heart.
That was beautiful. Thank you. We've
Thank
got a
you.
lot of love in our hearts.
So speak next week then.
Absolutely. Thank you. This has been absolutely precious. I want to thank you very much for the fantastic messages and the great inspiration.
Thank you for having
Lots
us.
of
And
love.
well done with the pop
Thank you.
moment. Very good. Thank you.
Thank you. Bye.
Thank you so much. Bye, Rags,
Bye.
Lars, Angelo,
Bye.
Paddington. Bye-bye. Thank
Bye.
you. Thank you.